Annyeonghaseyo! Welcome to Afternoona Delight, where Leah, Megan, and Amy, romance novelists and your K-romance guides. So grab some dekboki and listen to your new favorite unease. Hey, everybody.
Hello and hi there.
You said it in the right order. And I said, did. So it's just me, Megan.
And me, Amy.
Yeah.
Nobody's ever confused that it's me.
I think everyone knows the difference between our voices, so we're okay. So yeah. Leah is on deadline and
at the Weezer concert.
Oh yeah, and she said, of all things too, she's like, I have Weezer tickets. I'm like, okay, random. I like Weezer, but I
like Weezer. Yeah,
I didn't even know they were on tour. Okay,
I didn't either. I didn't either.
But she is also on deadline. I think she's pretty stressed right now. Her cat had an abscess. She's got all kinds of stuff going.
Her cat had an abscess. Her daughter had a rash.
Yeah.
She's on deadline. Her day job is crazy stressful. So we miss Leah. We're glad that she's getting a little bit of downtime going to see Weezer tonight. Yeah. Because her book is due in 5 days. So
is that I couldn't remember.
It's due the 14th. Yeah. And it's the 9th right now for anybody who's listening. And because I'm saying that it is the 9th, I want to say that we are thinking about everybody who is in Florida and hoping that Hurricane Milton passes through with as little damage as possible. I mean, this will be dated by the time we, post this episode, but we've been watching the storm and it's very scary.
Yeah, but it's been on my mind all day today. I have been watching coverage and I'm just like, it's heartbreaking already, and it hasn't even made landfall, although it probably will while we're talking.
Yeah, tornado went through my mom's county.
That's nuts.
She's not there. She's on vacation, thankfully, but I'm also not loving the fact that she's on vacation in the ocean. So,
yeah, no kidding. But I'm glad she's not there.
Yeah. So anyway, yes, we are thinking about everybody in South Florida right now. Well, all of Florida, really, because it's going to hit the whole state.
But it works out because so we'll talk about it. I do think Leah, the drama we're talking about today, Leah has not watched yet. I do think she will, but this drama, Amy and I want to talk about it. Okay. Yeah. And we know a lot of you have watched it.
I have things in mind to sell her on it even harder if I can do it without spoiling. And I just saw a scene in Spice Up Your Love that I was like,
right,
Leah would die for this.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I know. So we will sell her on it. I know she will love it. I do. Before we get into it, so yeah, we're gonna be talking. Just FYI, we're gonna be talking about No Gain, No Love. And
if you didn't notice from the title of the episode,
yeah, in case you're just like listening without looking,
randomly clicking on episodes and
in case
surprising yourself.
In case you have that much faith in us that you download
Afternoona Roulette. Yeah.
Yeah. So what are you watching now? Are you watching anything right now? Are you in a break?
So I'm skipping all over the place. So I was just watching Spice Up Your Love, which is like the 2-episode sort of bonus that goes with No Gain, No Love. And we'll talk about that. So I was just watching that right before we got on, but I just finished like 2 days ago. It's Okay, That's Love, which Leah talked about in a previous episode. Yeah. And I remember Leah saying, she's like, I really don't know if you guys will like it. Like,
she said, I know Megan will, but I think Amy will, but not her.
I'm so floored because like I was obsessed with this drama. And then I had to pause it because I went away last weekend for a writing conference and I just got back, and was able to finish it. And I absolutely love it. Love it, love it, love it. I can't believe how progressive it was talking about mental health because mental health is like the main focus. And this is a 10-year-old drama.
Oh,
so
wow.
Yeah, it was absolutely fantastic. It's very trauma and mental health based, but also comedic. Like this might be the funniest I've ever seen Sung Dong-il.
Okay.
He's a delight in everything, but he's absolutely hysterical in this. So
okay.
Yeah, just so much to love about it. And the chemistry between the leads, like I was like, how are these people not together in real life? So,
good. Oh, I love that.
So good.
I do. It's on my list to watch like very, very soon.
I do think you will like it a lot. I do think it'll be a great, great drama to talk about. And that is something that we've been talking about, is that we want to like go back in time a little bit and watch some classics while we're also, watching some current dramas. So so now I got to get back to Pachinko, because now I'm behind on Pachinko. So,
okay.
Because I had only watched the first couple episodes.
Okay.
So I know you asked that question just so you could talk about Blackout. So go.
I did. I love how you know. Well, okay, I need to talk about it just real quick. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not real quick, but
no, you're never quick. So just don't pretend. Don't pretend. It's okay.
Okay. So this is going to be long. No, just kidding.
No, because we will do the drama. Whether I am part of that, we will do a deep dive on it.
Right.
So
at the urging of Patreon members, specifically Katie and Claudia, I decided to watch Blackout. Blackout is I have his name. It stars Byun Yohan, who is Leah's like favorite, like
one and only.
Okay, he was in Mr. Sunshine. He was the like news reporter in Mr. Sunshine. And they said you got to start watching this. So it's on Hulu in the US and all the episodes are out. They actually like the back half just came out this week.
So Hulu / Disney.
So yeah. I am so knee deep in this drama. I had dreams about it last night. I woke up like freaking out about murders because it is a murder mystery. And
is it a murder mystery or people keep getting murdered?
No, it's a murder.
Because you said
mystery.
It's very violent.
It is violent. So let me explain the premise. So the premise basically is Byun Yohan, at 19 years old, he basically gives a.
Does he play himself at 19?
Yeah, he does.
He does?
Yes. And of course, they just like made his hair forward a little bit and they're like, okay, he's 19. And to be honest, go for it. Like, whatever. Yeah.
And so you were okay with
wild.
That? You're okay with that, but not An Bo-hyun.
I think the thing is.
I can never get over the An Bo-hyun.
I know. This is the thing. Most of the time. Well, I mean, there is a scene where he's like playing soccer in high school, and I'm like, come on, that is a grown man. Like, what are we doing? But it's still not as bad as An Bo-hyun wearing a school uniform. But anyway, so at 19, he goes to jail. He's convicted of murdering his female friend, and his girlfriend. But he contests and says that he didn't do it. Like the only problem is the time of their murders, he can't remember. He drank so much and he had a blackout. That's why it's called Blackout. He cannot remember. And when he's 19, he's kind of like freaked out and doesn't understand what's going on. But he cannot remember what happened, but he still is like, there's no way. I know myself. I did not kill these girls. I didn't do it. So he gets out of jail.
How many girls?
2. So it was his like best friend from childhood and his girlfriend. And he's like, I didn't like, yeah. And when the drama starts too, they haven't found either body of the girls. So he gets out of jail 10 years later. He comes home, basically to see his mother. And he's deciding on what to like. Everyone's like, "Oh, you're a murderer. Get out of our town. You're horrible. I hate you." But let's just say things happen, and he's determined to find out what really happened that night. And so it's violent because he just keeps getting beat up. It's like, I mean, and they like there's so much. There's a montage of jail violence. So I guess if you look at it, it's not that long. So you could probably withstand that. But he just keeps getting beat up. I'm so tired of him getting punched. Okay. Like, oh my God, leave this guy alone. Like, he just is like always has a split lip. I'm just over it.
That was again my life with Lee Jung-gi. Like in the beginning, he just kept getting his ass kicked. And I was like, can we move on to an actual story?
Yes. It's just a lot. But it is so good. It is so, so good. And It reminds me of a little bit so you don't, this is the thing. So it's a small town and you immediately do not know who to trust. Like you know, shit went down and you have no idea who to trust, which is one of my favorites.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's like butter to me. And once things start to unravel, like townspeople are just unraveling. It reminds me a little bit of like in The Glory, when like people just start unraveling and telling on themselves. That's like that's like,
the best. That was what I loved the most about The Glory is everybody was their own worst enemy.
That's basically what's happening as well.
Okay.
So it is so good. It's not funny. Like there is, in honesty, there is like no levity. It is heavy.
Okay.
It is rough. There is like a lot of trigger warnings, but yet the core of the story is so hard to like look away from. I mean, it's just because you're just rooting for
Yeonjun.
His name is Jung-woo. And all you want to do is see him get justice and you want the girls to get justice. And so it is, oh my God, it's so good. And I'm like almost mad at Katie and Claudia. And I've been DMing Katie, just like screaming stuff, because the amount of times that I have been so shocked that I've hollered out loud at my screen or my jaw just drops. Like physically, my jaw drops and I could catch flies. Like,
so the writing is A+.
Writing is A+. And so I'm just so engaged. I'm a little over halfway through. I think I'm on episode like 11 or 12. 11, I think, out of 16. So I'm super engaged. I really love it. It's just, I mean, like I said, there's no levity. And so I would say I watched it after No Gain, No Love, watching that, and then also watching Spice Up Our Love, which was the 2-episode kind of epilogue that we'll talk about. And that's why I felt ready to watch Blackout.
Right.
I knew it was going to be heavy. And I was like, okay, I just got like major doses of happy romance and like heartwarming stuff. Heartwarming moments. I got my dopamine. So now I'm ready to just be like emotionally damaged by Blackout. And that's what's happening. I'm being emotionally damaged. But also in a way that I'm like, oh wow, I'm just, and
you're enjoying it.
Yeah, people are giving their all. The acting, just everything they have. Yeonjun is like, he probably had nightmares filming this. He probably.
Wow.
Anyway, that's what I'm watching. Fully engaged. But let's get back to happy stuff.
Yeah, happy stuff. And I mean, really quick, I know that nobody listening can see us right now, but I just want to ask you, like, do I look like Voldemort? Like, what do I
know? You kind of, so Amy's face is basically so blown out, like white, like she has a light.
Like the lighting is terrible in my room. And so the one lamp that I have on makes me look like a ghost.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at myself right now and I can't stop laughing.
Right. Because she has glasses on. So when she was like, hey, I'm going to hit record. Let's like start the podcast. And she looked like right at the like camera or whatever. And her glasses, I couldn't even see her eyeballs. I'm like, who am I talking to? Feels like
I'm looking at myself right now and I can't see my nose.
Yeah, no.
I can see my nose ring, but I can't see my nose.
Your teeth are blinding. They're like chiclets. It's so white. It's so funny. I'm sort of used to it, but you don't.
I know. Just know that I'm here. I'm engaged. I mean, I don't look like this. I don't look like this in real life.
Yeah, you're pale, but you're not that pale.
I'm not this pale. No. My God. All right. So yes, we are talking about No Gain, No Love tonight. And as always, we'll start by steering clear of spoilers and then let you know when we'll be getting to the spoiler section. So before we even talk about the drama itself, No Gain, No Love, why did you watch it?
You start, because I actually want to know more why you...
It was Sarah. It was Afternoona Asks Sarah. She DM'd me on Instagram and was like, I just have this feeling that you're really going to love this. And she had just started it. She's like, I just have a feeling that this is for you. And she's like, I know I've told you to watch like this, and this. And she's like, because she's been wanting me to get to watch Moving for like ever. And I haven't. And now that I've watched the lead in It's Okay, That's Love is in Moving. So now I'm like, all right, I'm moving over to Moving soon. But she's like, I just have this feeling that like this is for you. And I started it and I was like, holy shit, yes, it's for me. And then it was like, like you're DMing, Katie and stuff about Blackout. I'm DMing her to the extent where I'm ahead of her then in the drama. And she's like, oh, I haven't watched yet. Cause I was like, there's a cameo like early on. There's two cameos early on. And I was like squealing about a cameo. She's like, I'm not there yet. I'm like, oh shit, sorry. But like, yeah, I mean, she was right. Like this is a drama for me.
Right.
And I think she's probably right about everything else that she suggested that I watch. I just sometimes don't always get to it because I'm watching something else. But this one, I was like, you know what? I'm not watching anything right now. And this is a live drama. I have time for it. I'm going to jump right in. And this is one of those dramas that like I never got behind. Like every Monday when the next episode dropped, I watched it. Every Tuesday when the next episode dropped, I watched it.
Yeah, you were on top of it because I would fall behind because I was watching it live with you. I went.
You started a little bit after me.
I did. I think I started when the first like 4 or 6, maybe the first 6 were out. So the reason I started was kind of twofold. I saw a lot of people talking about it. I wasn't really in the mood for kind of like a rom-com, and I think I even messaged this to Sarah, but the only reason I was going to start it was because I knew my beloved Lee Sung-yi was in a second lead role in this drama and then was getting a spinoff. And I wanted to watch him in the spinoff. So I was like, well, now I got to watch the original drama. That's literally the only reason I started it.
It's a good selling point.
Was for Lee Sung-yi because I was like, I got to support my boy. Like, I will support him now. Like, I just love him. After Bloodhounds, I was like, I'm supporting this guy.
I adore him. I absolutely adore him.
Yeah, so I started watching it, although you did then kind of sell me on it because you explained. You kind of said, "Oh, the heroine is like tough. You'll like," and I do. The heroine's what drew me in. Like that's immediately Shin Min-ah killed it. Absolutely killed it. This was like, I remember when we watched "Marry My Husband" and we're like, Park Min Young is like carrying this.
Yes.
Not that no one else was doing their jobs, but like it felt
But
like
she's so strong. Yeah, she's so strong in this.
So that's the way I felt like No Gain, No Love was like it was Shin Min-ah's like time to shine. Truly, like this drama wouldn't have worked without the way she played the character, in my opinion.
Yeah, so good. So if you aren't familiar with this drama, here's a little bit about No Gain, No Love. No Gain, No Love is a TVN drama written by Kim Hae-young that aired from August 26th to October 1st, so it's brand spanking new.
Mm-hmm.
This drama aired on Prime, and at least for us in the States, I don't know overseas where it is, if it's on Prime as well. And it's a quick 12 episodes if you haven't checked it out yet. So here's a little bit about the drama. Sun Hae-young is the type of person who doesn't want to miss out on anything. That's Shin Min-ah's character. Whether it's money, opportunity, or love, while growing up, she had to share her mother's love with the many foster children that her mother took in over the years. Hae-young was an only child who, in her younger years, resented that she never felt like one. When it comes to relationships, she always seems to find her partners lacking, which is why the drama starts with her breaking up with her current boyfriend, An Woo-jae. Except being single might mean missing out on a job promotion at her workplace since the company's president, Buk Yoo-hun, will not even be alone in a room with a single female employee, let alone promote her. Why? Reasons. She needs to be married to rise in the corporate ranks. So she enlists Kim Ji-uk, the cashier at her local convenience store, to be her fiancé.
Ji-uk takes care of everyone, and all of them refer to him as an angel because he simply can't say no to someone in need. He gets along with every customer at the convenience store except for one. You guessed it, Hae-young. Yet when she suddenly asks him to be the fake groom at the fake wedding she's throwing for herself, he somehow accepts her offer. Okay, just from a writing standpoint, why does this setup work for a romance? What is the tropey butter that makes this story irresistible?
So we've talked about like enemies to lovers, and I love a good enemies to lovers, but I love that we get to see these two be combative for like 2 episodes before they start anything, fake relationship-y, because we've got both, right?
I remember thinking, like, how are they gonna get this chemistry? Because they're really combative and standoffish with each other.
And like in such a funny way. Like it's so funny. Like she walks up to the convenience store and peeks in the window and he's cleaning the windows and he spritzes her even like through the glass, And it's just I love it.
And then as he's cleaning, she puts full palms on the door. So
all the fingerprints. Yes.
Yes, to clean it again. It's so funny. It's so silly.
It's like the antagonistic chemistry between them in the beginning is off the charts.
Right.
That you're like, that it's going to be a happy ending because it's a romance, but you're like, there's no way. Like these two can't stand each other.
Right.
And it's so well done. So yeah, for me, the butter is just that real combative enemies to lovers.
Oh, I love it. I love it. There's forced proximity. There's very much opposites attract. So that's the thing. At the very beginning, they set up how Hae-young isn't necessarily liked by people. And she doesn't care. She doesn't care. She's not trying to be liked by people. She can be abrasive. She can be assertive. Basically, if she was a man, you'd call her an alpha, but she's a female, so she's referred to often by like another word. And then you have Ji-yook, who's like, I think there's even a scene where they have like cartoon angel wings and like a halo.
Yes.
He's just, oh my God, he's like helping elderly pick up recycling. He's feeding a stray. I mean, again, save the cat. Hello, we have a save the cat. He's literally feeding a stray cat. And he makes a deal with her that he'll basically do what she wants him to do if she takes in the cat after he gets the cat like surgery or something like that. So it's all about the cat at the beginning.
He has currency though. Like that's the thing is like there's a reason for him to say yes, right?
Yes.
Like that's what I love about it.
And then I would say one of my favorite things is kind of fish out of water. So he is like this cashier. He's happy doing what he's doing. He's not trying to like make a lot of money. He just wants to like help people. And then he basically gets thrust into this world as her groom. And he has to be, he doesn't like people looking at him. He wears baggy clothes. He wears glasses, very shaggy.
Yeah.
Yes, hair is shaggy. So then all of a sudden you take this man and throw him in like a tux and make him get married in front of all these people he doesn't know. It's just everything about it is, very fish out of water to me. And I love that. I love seeing a character be thrust into something they're not familiar with. And I like to see that and how they adapt. That's so fun.
It's like in romance world, it's what we call trope stacking. And there's so many good tropes stacked into this story that just feed really well off of each other.
Yeah, because there's a relationship of convenience, a marriage of convenience, and then you have forced proximity. Like these characters cannot get away from each other. No, even though they are trying to get away from each other, and it's like everything in their life keeps like pushing them closer together, and it's really delicious. It's really good.
How far into the drama did you know that you were going to love it? Because spoiler, we both did. If you can't tell that we were talking about it already.
I honestly think so. I was already like liking it, like really, really liking it as soon as Shin Min-ah as soon as I got to know Shin Min-ah's character. They established very early on why she doesn't like to lose out. And her name even means like zero loss. Remember they say that sometimes?
Oh, really?
Yeah, it means like they reference that. Like her name itself means like zero loss or something like that.
Ah.
So I love that her motivation is established very quickly because you don't know Ji-yook's motivation for a while. And I think it's frustrating when it was okay that we didn't know his motivation because at least we knew Hae-young's. So that drew me in immediately because I had someone I knew I could root for because I understood her. Like Hae-young there's no like mystery really with her. Like she is who she is.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't really keep secrets. And
except for her fake marriage.
Well, yeah, but even that was like, it didn't feel like a secret. Like, that's the thing. She's like, she's not mysterious.
No.
And I love that about her. And I think, though, the moment where I knew this was going to be really good was the scene where she asks him to marry her. So she's been drinking and he's like in a cooler, like stocking the drinks. Okay. And
it's like Romeo and Juliet.
It is through the fish tank.
It's Romeo and Juliet through the fish tank. It's Claire and Leo.
It is like when they, yeah. So their eyes kind of meet, like he's in the cooler and she's seeing him through the glass of the cooler. And they lock eyes and he's like, oh God, what does she want? And they like both walk at the same time. And then she's like, marry me, like be my husband. And like, it doesn't happen immediately. Other things ensue. But that's when that was the first inkling I got chemistry between them, I think. And that was why I was like, well, now I'm into it, because you gave me like a promise of really good chemistry. Now I need to see it played out.
Yeah, that was a really, really good scene. And that was the end of an episode too, which I loved. Love.
I was like, next.
Yes. That was like a couple episodes in. I think episode 1, like, and I remember thinking to myself as I was watching, like, that, like, wow, I usually need like 2-3 episodes to know if I like a drama. And I knew after the first episode that I wanted to keep going. Yeah. I just loved everything about it. Like, it starts out very comedic, but not farcical, which Correct. I like. It's smart comedy. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we start, we start peeling back the layers of the characters too, like really early on, because how she feels about her upbringing with all the foster kids, but then she also lives with 2 of her former foster sisters, who are like her besties now. So that there has been like some change there. Yeah, I don't know. Everybody, like, it is truly an ensemble cast because there's not just one story going on here. And I was fully invested in everybody's story.
Yeah, there's so many stories going on.
But like they're weaved together so well.
Yeah, like even down to like the mom reading her romance. Like there's just like the mom of Yoo-hyun.
Buk-hyun.
Yeah, even like
the whole joke of his name being Buk-hyo.
Yeah, Buk-hyo. The whole relationship with her and her husband. I mean, there's just so much going on. So
yeah, it's fantastic. But let's talk about our main cast.
Yay!
Our ensemble main cast. Shin Min-ah as Hae-young, Kim Young-dae as Ji-hyuk, Lee Sang-yi as Buk-hyun, Han Ji-hyun as Nam Ja-yeon, foster sister bestie number 1, and Joo Min-kyung as Cha Hee-sung, foster sister bestie number 2. Have you seen these actors before? And did you love them? In stuff you've seen before, or were you just introduced to them here?
So I loved Shin Min-ah in Hometown Cha Cha Cha.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say more. I have not seen Kim Young-dae, the Ji-hyuk's character, at anything because I didn't watch Extraordinary.
You didn't watch Extraordinary.
I know. So I didn't know what to expect with him. I knew what to expect with Shin Min-ah, and she exceeded my expectations. I'm gonna say I might have seen the sisters in something, but I don't remember. So clearly they like didn't stand, like it didn't, if I saw them in something,
seen them in anything.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it matters since they didn't stand out. I love them in this. I really, really did. I thought that they were both really delightful. The older sister, Hee-sung, I guess, or like the older of the 2 sisters, the 2 foster sisters. I loved her voice. So she was like a voice actor. That's like what her job in the drama. And I was like, well, damn, of course they get like the actress with the best voice. She had this like low tone voice. It was really, really cool. And then of course the other sister was a romance writer and like a spicy like webtoon romance writer, which is really
cool. Love it so much.
And then Lee Sang-yi. So
this whole episode is really a tribute to Lee Sang-yi. Like,
no, it's not, but
it should be.
Oh, And we'll get to Kim Young-dae because let's just say now I'm a fan. Okay, because I loved him. I thought he was fantastic. I thought he played comedy well, sincerity well, but yet he was sexy, very like I was very into how he played this role.
Oh my gosh, so
but
good.
Lee Sang-yi, so I have seen him in several things. What I most remember him from was Hometown Cha-Cha-Cha before this.
Not Bloodhounds?
Well, no, I'm getting to that.
Okay.
When I became a massive fan of Lee Sang-yi is in Bloodhounds. He had a bromance with Woo-Do-hwan. Bloodhounds itself was good, not great. But Lee Sang-yi played this super charming, outgoing, funny character, but yet he had so much vulnerability, so much emotional depth to him in this like action boxer revenge type drama. And I know what he looks like beneath it. I know what he looks like. Okay. He has a whole montage where he's wearing matching tiny red shorts with Woo-Do-hwan, and they're like punching tires and they're working out, and that's all they're wearing. And I know what so in this drama, when they tried to sell me that he couldn't pick up a woman, I'm like, we've all seen Bloodhounds. Why are you trying to act like we don't know what's underneath that suit? Okay. But I loved him in Bloodhounds. And ever since then, I was like, he clearly can be a lead, and he can be like, I just know he has it in him to be a romantic lead. And he proved it in this. Like, give him a lead role stat.
All of them. Give him all of the lead roles.
This is not the last time I'm going to say this. Okay.
No.
I'm going to repeat it several times. So just like fast forward if you get too tired of it, but give him a lead role. He's great.
Yeah. Shin Min-ah, the same for me. I know her just from Hometown Cha-Cha-Cha, which I loved her in. Kim Young-dae was in Extraordinary You. And I love that drama and have on many occasions told you how much you've missed out by not watching that drama.
I might still.
Because you watch Lovely Runner and you're like, I love the heroine. I'm like, she's the heroine in Extraordinary You.
I did love her.
But Kim Young-dae, I love his role in Extraordinary You, because if you don't know the drama Extraordinary You, everybody in the drama is in a webtoon. But they don't know that they're just characters in a story, except our lead like starts to become aware. And that's kind of like what is the catalyst for the story. Kim Young-dae in that drama plays the quote unquote male lead, because the heroine in the drama is not the lead in the webtoon. Like she thinks she thinks, because everybody's the main character of their own story. Mm-hmm. But she finds out that she's a side character, like an extra, and is like, what? Or like second lead or whatever. But Kim Young-dae plays Oh Nam-ju, which means like the man or the boy. So it's funny. And he is not aware. He does not know that he is just a character. Anyway, it's a great drama. So I was very excited to see him in something very, very different. And he was absolutely fantastic. Lee Sang-yi, I have not seen Bloodhounds because too violent for
it is
little old me.
Trust me, it's so violent.
Yeah, no, it's not going to happen. But I have seen him in Camellia, in Hometown Cha-Cha-Cha, in Prison Playbook, and My Demon. And he never stuck out to me, other than like where he stuck out the most was My Demon, because I did not like his character. Like it was just like he was supposed to be a second lead, but he couldn't like hold a candle to a demon.
Right.
And
sorry,
like he just couldn't, and he was just kind of like a sap and, whatever. And it was the character that he was given. It had nothing to do with him. So when I saw him in this, I was like, good Lord, somebody give this man this leading romantic role.
This is what's frustrating, because Hometown Cha-Cha-Cha, same. He's kind of this like mopey, like very bland.
And it's not his fault.
No, it's not his fault.
The role he's given. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's why when they gave him this role in Bloodhounds where he had a very distinct personality. He was sort of like not brilliant either. Like both him and Udo Wan were like a lot of brawn, not tons of brains. And it was very funny. And they had like incredible banter. Lee Sang-yi had this thing where like if he knew you were in the military, he would like salute you like to an extreme, and people were always like, you need to calm down. And like Udo Wan would be like, sorry, he's just really into country pride. Like it was like this, he was so good. And so after I saw that he clearly has it in him to play something other than like a mopey sap, I was like, dude, like I wanted that man, that character to have a romance. This like charming, and he had curly hair. He had like an earring. It was just so fantastic. And I would say No Gain No Love, he started out a little bland, but then really revved up.
Like, so like,
and then I was stoked.
Like exponentially revved up. Like
he did
so well. Like to the extent like where I'm messaging Megan, I'm like, I don't think there is a drama where I've been so invested in the second lead romance. Like I was
very invested. Yeah.
So good. So yeah. So same with the sister besties. I haven't seen them, but I absolutely love them both. Like fantastic. So great. Han Ji-hyun and Joo Min-kyung, absolutely fantastic. So I can't wait to see them in more.
Yeah. So this is a Nuna romance with, yes, get it, Shin Min-a. Without going into spoilers yet, what's your thought on Nuna romances in general? And was this a good pairing between Shin Min-a and Kim Young-dae?
So I'm one of those people who likes to look up in real life ages, because I love, like, they're not meant to be this many years, like these many years apart in the drama. Like, I think they're only supposed to be like maybe like 5-6 years apart. But in real life, Shin Min-a is 40 and Kim Young-dae is 28.
I love it.
I love it. I love it that we are not like, benching older women or making them play, Ajuma roles when they hit 40. I mean, some are like, some just have always been put in those roles. But we've been on a quest for like, Kim Sun-young, like give her a lead, romance too. Like just because you're in your 40s doesn't mean you don't have romance. But yeah, I love that we've got a woman who is a full adult woman, getting to play against a younger man, and they look great together and they have actual real chemistry.
Yeah, they do.
From the get-go. First it's animosity and then of course romance. So yeah, I mean, I'm a Nuna myself, so I am always here for a Nuna romance.
Yeah. So, and I want to say too, they didn't make Shin Min-a play a 25-year-old.
No.
She's 33 and she acts 33. She acts like an adult. She has adult thoughts.
In the drama, she's 33.
I'm sorry. In the drama, she's 33. But I like that. Like, don't try to let's get over 30. Like, this is a start. It's a start. I would have been fine if she was 40 in the drama. I'm not sure why it mattered, but well, actually, there was some timing issues that made sense on why she needed to be 33. But I mean, I like Nuna romances. They're never like usually my favorite, but I would say this one, there was something about Kim Young-dae that I don't know what it was. He calls
her ma'am.
He calls her ma'am like the whole time.
And I loved it.
He clearly like worships her. And I don't know how to explain it, because they drew attention to the fact that he was younger than her. In the drama, he was younger than her as well. And several characters were like, "Ooh, like good for you getting a younger man." And I'm just like, yeah. And you could tell like Ji-yook, the character, like no qualms, did not care that she was older, loved it that she was older, liked her personality, that she was assertive. I think he like really, really loved that about her.
And that was a big part of her sort of, thinking about herself and her self-worth and is she lovable? And because she's been called out on her strong behavior before, and she wonders if anybody would ever love her just the way that she is. And he does. Right. And I love it.
He does. He absolutely does.
If you had to pick a comp for this drama, what would it be?
So I said like business proposal, what's wrong with Secretary Kim? Maybe even Hometown Cha-Cha-Cha. It's a little bit more serious than this one. Although this one, we'll get there. There was some murder mystery. So not a mystery, but
there's some murdering.
Yeah. I mean,
those are good because those are office romances, and they end up working together. So
yes, there's a lot about this that feels like an office romance.
Yeah,
and I was okay with that. I didn't know that's what I was getting, but I was okay with what I was being served.
Yeah, yeah, and I said "Love to Hate You," which also is kind of an office romance because they're working together. She's teaching him how to, street fight and not fight like he's on stage. And it's enemies to lovers and so great.
And it's grown up.
Like, and it's grown up. Like I will sing the praises of Love to Hate You for the rest of time.
Me too. And I would say No Gain, No Love also felt like a grown up romance.
It did.
This is not a spoiler, but there's a point where she's like, "Oh my God, was I your first kiss?" And he was just like, "Look, I've done some
He's like,
things.
I might not have done everything before, but I've kissed."
Yeah. And well, he was like, "I've done some stuff."
Yeah, he's like, "I've done some stuff."
Yeah, don't think I can't please you. Like he really was kind of saying that. It was good. It was good.
Okay, and I feel like it's been a while since we've done this.
It is. It has.
Because we've all been together, like, I don't know, it's been a weird time for the Noonas, but
yeah,
we're at the K-pop rec portion of our show, which means we'll be getting to the spoilers after. But Megan, what do you have for us tonight?
Yeah, I'm really excited about this. I'm going to recommend GUM, so GUM it's GGUM. Why? Because it's K-pop.
GGUM.
It's gum with 2 G's. I don't know why. K-pop does stuff like that. So it's by Yeonjun, who is a member of TXT. So this is like a solo song for him. And look, the song, I don't know. It's not the greatest song ever made, but look, it is so catchy. I can't tell you how much of an earworm it is. And it's so fun. It's just the beat is fun. The dancing is fun. And the dancing is also like crazy hard. So it's been interesting because sometimes I've been like watching some dance challenges and there are people trying to do this dance and it's really difficult because he goes into like a drop split and then comes back up. And that's like the really, really hard part. But yeah, it's just been an earworm. It's really fun. I don't want to hear criticism of this song. I feel like some people are being kind of mean about it. I don't care. It's so fun. I love it. And I'm proud of Yeonjun for giving it his all. He has red hair in this comeback, and it's fantastic. So again, it's GUM with 2 G's by Yeonjun.
I love it.
Yeah.
GUM.
GUM.
So before we get to our spoiler section, I have to do a quick random aside because I'm just looking at something and it's making me think of it, and it's K-drama related. So I mentioned that I was at, and I know you're not going to be able to see what I'm holding up, but I'll talk about it. I mentioned that I was at an author conference last weekend, and it was a great conference put on by my publisher, Source Books, Book Bash. It was the first of its kind, and hopefully it'll happen every year because it was really fun. But it was grueling. Like it was 3 days and there were panels and signings every day. And you were going from, 10 o'clock in the morning until like, if you went to the evening stuff, like 10 o'clock at night.
Ugh.
They had at this bookstore, it's, Joseph Beth Books in Lexington, Kentucky. They were fantastic. It's this ginormous bookstore and they have like a bistro attached to it. And they had like a back room that's like a party room that was like the author and like publisher green room. So they always had food in there for us, food and drinks and like, like medicine if you needed. And they had pain patches. So I'm holding up my package here of pain patches. Okay. Salon Pass pain relieving patch.
Yeah.
And I saw them and I was like, oh my gosh, that's so K-drama. And I'm like, my neck has been killing me. Like I was taking migraine medicine every day because I was getting a headache from my sore shoulders. Yeah. And like, I have to try these. And I took a whole package because I didn't know how many were in there. So I'm sorry if I took too many because I didn't know how many were in there, but there were lots of packages. And there's a lot in there, but they are literally like Bengay patches. That's what they are.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're just menthol patches and they are fantastic. Like I've been using them since I got home. Like after a long day at work, I'm like, I get it, K-drama. Like I believe the pain patches now. I was always like, what does that do? What are those? Like I didn't even know what they were. Yeah. And now I know. And I am an advocate.
Yeah.
For the menthol pain patches.
So when I like had pinched that nerve in my shoulder, I went and got some, except so I got like 2 different kinds, and the one I got was a lidocaine patch.
Oh.
And so my shoulder
numbing.
Was like, and I was like dying. Like that was like the worst pain I'd ever felt. And so I was wearing the patch too much in the same spot. And so I told my husband, I'm like, okay, I'm ready for like a patch change. And he like peeled it off and he was like, Megan, your skin looks like burnt. Like, I don't think we can put another one on. And I did. I looked at it because there were like little holes in the pain patch. So it was like studded, sort of like you could see like the indent on I was like, oh my God, you're right. I'm going to burn my skin off. It was so bad. So the menthol ones, I don't think would do that. I really think it was like the lidocaine.
Well, I did read the directions because I was like, can I sleep with these on? Because I'm so sore. And they said don't leave on for more than 8 hours. So I did not sleep with them on.
Right. Good on you, because I
was like, can I just put these all over? Like,
oh, trust me. Yes, I tried to do that, and then my skin was about to burn off. So, I mean, Koreans probably know this and use them wisely.
I read the directions. So.
Well, yeah, I did too, but I didn't care because I was in so much pain. So yeah, just they're great, but just follow
the directions. I am not a doctor, everybody. I am just telling you that I tried them for the first time.
Yeah,
and I am sold. So
no, they are. No, they're freaking great. I also get it. The K-pop idols, you always see them on their necks and stuff.
Yeah.
All the time. And I get it. I just feel bad because they're like 21.
and they're walking around like me,
and they're walking around. I know.
All right. Spoiler section. Here we go. Let's talk about how progressive this drama is. We have a tenacious heroine who will do whatever she must to succeed in the corporate world. We have one bestie sister who is a spicy romance writer and another bestie sister who is in a polyamorous relationship. There are vibrators, which later get used as weapons, but we're getting ahead of ourselves. And a woman contemplating her choice to do what's best for her body and her life when she unexpectedly becomes pregnant, as well as the other women in her life supporting her regardless of what she decides. Yeah. Pick one of these progressive aspects of the drama or any other that comes to mind, because I didn't even hit on everything, and tell me why you loved it.
So I would say the one that hit me the most, probably just because I felt like it was maybe a little bit relatable, was when Hae-young, she's talking about why she doesn't want to work with Jiuk. She's like, I don't want my husband in the same building as my coworkers. And she says, if you say you're hungry, then people are going to say to me, why didn't you feed him breakfast? If you look tired, they're going to say to me, why aren't you taking better care of Jiuk? If he's in a bad mood, it's going to be like, she's like, do you understand? It's my fault. And she says all this to him. This is another thing that I love about this drama, is that she communicates everything.
Yeah.
Most stuff. I mean, there are some things, but for the most part, she's like, because he's like, I don't understand. Why does it matter? And she's like, this is why it matters. Because what you do is going to reflect on me, but what I do doesn't reflect on you. And it made me think a little bit of like how if you're out in public, say you go to Target, like as a mom, if I went to Target with my young kids and say my kids like have a meltdown and I'm like trying to handle it,
you're judged.
People would say like, oh my God, look at that mom. God, she's terrible. Whereas if my husband is out with my two kids and one of them has a meltdown, they'll be like, oh, look at that great dad. He's really doing a good job handling that kid with the meltdown. And it's true. It's really true. I still remember I had like, extended family members, but like when our kids were little, they would just go on and on about what a great husband or a great father Neil was. I was like, he's doing the same thing I'm doing. Like, yeah, he's a good dad, but like, we're doing the same things.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? But like, they're never like, oh, Megan, what a great mom you are. And so it just made me, to me, that is how I internalized, you watch a drama from your lens. And that's how I internalized and I personalized her words.
That's awesome. I love that scene. I love that you remembered that.
Yeah. And it was just a really important scene to me. And the thing is that I loved about it too was Jiok was like, oh, okay. I didn't realize that. He didn't go, oh no, that's not right. Or even if he did, I don't think he initially like brushes it off. I'm pretty sure he was like, okay. Like
he's a pretty enlightened dude.
Yeah, actually, no. What he says is, I'll make sure nothing falls back on you. I will do my best. I will make sure nothing falls on you. And then I remember though too, people were like, oh, she's in a bad mood. How are you? They like reference their sex life too, which is also but anyway, it was just, I really loved that scene. I liked what it meant for the characters. I liked what it meant for Hae-young to have to say that. I thought, like, I remember I was watching it and I was like, holy shit, like this feels super feminist, but in a way that didn't feel forced down my throat because it all made sense within the drama. There was like a reason for this conversation. It tied into everything about the drama and about why she was so frustrated with the way the company favored married couples.
Yeah. And that came up earlier. I had mentioned that Buk Yoo-hun doesn't want to be alone in a room with an unmarried woman. And that comes from his home life and his mother's, mistrust of his philandering father. And so she basically like tells her son, you can't ever be alone with a woman who's not married because, it's dangerous.
He's like, okay, mom, like I gotta listen to what my mom says.
I mean, it's wild. But so Jiuk ends up working at her company unbeknownst to her because of course after their fake marriage they go their separate ways because she's like, I just need everybody at work to think I'm married. Like, nobody's ever going to check on me. They go their separate ways and they don't see each other for like 6 months or something like that.
Yeah.
And then he shows up in the new employee program because he has been approached by some random dude who's like, I can't tell you why, but you need to get a job at this company and I'm going to put you up in this really nice apartment and give you a car.
It's so weird.
It's so weird. And it never truly makes sense.
It doesn't. But that's okay.
But it's fine. It's fine. But anyway, so yeah, I mean, I love the romance writer part of it. Obviously, I know we both do. But I love that it's not just that there's a character who's a romance writer, but she's a very principal part of the story. We see her sitting at her desk writing all the time and trying to think of spicy scenes. We see Buk Yoo-hun's mother reading her stories and it not being shameful. I mean, until he does and like clutches all of his pearls, but it not being shameful for these women to be enjoying sex on the page. And that was really, really like validating for me to see as a writer, as somebody who even, here in the States where romance books are definitely like a huge part of the industry, like one of the biggest moneymakers of the industry, that we still get shamed for what we do and told that what we write isn't, real literature or it's, not literature with a capital L or, stuff like that. Like romance just tends to get disparaged all the time. And it was just really refreshing to see it not be disparaged in this drama.
Yeah, I also think that the actual like writing part felt really realistic. Like,
yes,
I she just sat at her desk. I mean, that's really it. Like,
there's a scene. Oh, there's a great scene where so Hae-young is getting up for work for the day, and we see her like stretching and like getting, dressed for work and walks out of her room. And then Nam Ja-yeon is stretching, getting out of her chair and curling up in bed because she's been up all night writing. And I'm like, I am that person. I have been there. I have done that.
Yeah, and like she'll like shuffle downstairs wearing like sweatpants and a sweatshirt. And like she's wearing her slippers and she's getting food and then she's going back up and she's writing. She's putting on her head. I love that she put on like noise canceling headphones. That's what I do.
Yep.
And like nothing about they didn't like glamorize what she did. She clearly like made good money, but that also made sense that she made good money based on like how popular her books were. The fact that she was getting like audio deals, like it made sense that she was like, yeah, I make pretty good money, but probably not enough to like move out. Like she's still staying at her sister's place. Well, actually, no, she did try to move out, but whatever, that's not the point. But everything about it didn't feel like Carrie Bradshaw. Like it felt normal, like how a writer would be. She had like her little desk and with her like comfort things, but she just sat there and wrote. I mean, that's what you do. It's not, it's not very exciting.
In her bedroom, in her shared house with her sisters.
Yeah. Yeah. I liked it. I'd love to see her take a break. And you could tell she almost had to like change her like get out of her writing mode. And she would, like I said, she would like shuffle downstairs, get her coffee, yawn. Yeah. I was like, yeah, girl, that's what I do if I'm writing during the day and I like shuffle downstairs, get another coffee, and my husband tries to talk to me, but my brain is like still on what I wrote an hour ago.
Yeah. So it's pretty clear in episode 1 that Hae-young and Ji-hyuk are going to have a past connection as foster siblings. But it's not clear until much later why Hae-young doesn't know him as being her foster brother. But even speculating that he was one of her mom's foster children, the gasp I gasped at the fake wedding that no one knew was fake other than the bridegroom and the sister besties, when Ji-hyuk hugged Hae-young's mom, who now has dementia, and Hae-young's mom says something to the effect of, "My Ji-hyuk," and then he whispers to her, "It's me, I'm here." I like lost it. I lost it. Like, did this hit you like it hit me? And do you think it's too much of a spoiler to try to sell Leah on this drama by saying it's a Noona romance between a heroine and her foster brother?
That's how, let me just say right now, that's exactly how we should sell it to her. It's not too much. It's not. She doesn't care about spoilers that much. She's not going to care about that.
And I don't think it's a spoiler because in episode 1, I was like, he's one of the foster kids. Like, he's that boy. Like,
right. I felt like there was something. I think it didn't hit me quite as hard. Maybe because I had like some sort of sneaking suspicion that like something else was going on. I also wonder. Oh, I did see a spoiler, remember? But this wasn't the spoiler. Remember I said
I don't know which spoiler you saw. Yeah, what spoiler did you see?
That's not, I had like a beef with like, I think it was Drama Beans. Or maybe it was even the Netflix. No, it wouldn't have been Netflix because it's not a Netflix show. I think it was Drama Beans. You guys got to stop posting spoilers mid-season. Like mid-season. Like the show is airing. You cannot be posting spoilers. You can't do that. Like, what's wrong with you? And so the spoiler was that he was a secret Chaebol.
Oh, okay.
So immediately I was like, oh, well, he's the CEO's son. Yeah. Like he's like a love child. So it was irritating that I knew that. It didn't really ruin the enjoyment of the show, but it was like, but I remember you said, oh, he has he has like 2 secret identities.
Yes. I didn't know which one it was. I was like, oh, and then I was like, I didn't want to say anything because I'm like, wait, there's 2. Which one?
So I think I was like irritated already. So when that came out, I was kind of like, okay, that's one of the, but I definitely did still like that still was a surprise. I would say I didn't think he was a foster brother, but I definitely knew something was going on. And it's a K-drama. So of course they're going to like have them connect at one point, But I was surprised And then how he kept visiting her. And then the mother with dementia. And then when she was holding that stuffed animal and she called it Hey Young-ah, it was so cute.
There's just some great emotion in this drama, but then also some great comedy. Like I still can't get over the balance that they struck with this. It was so well done.
So, second leads. I know we already talked about this, but we're going to do it again. No Game, No Love has a second lead couple whose romance is as equally compelling as the main leads. Nam Jae-yeon and Bok Gyu-hyun's meet cute comes when the pearl-clutching Gyu-hyun finds the smutty web romance his mom is reading on her tablet, and he's so scandalized that he trolls Jae-yeon in the comments so badly and so cruelly that he gets arrested. So let's take a minute or 20 to gush about this relationship and its progression from a very unique take on enemies to lovers.
I thought this was handled so well, first of all, the trolling.
Me too.
Like the why he did it, because he felt very scandalized and, didn't know that this kind of thing existed out there. And, I blame his mother for this because she's basically like cock blocking his entire life.
Yeah, he's a virgin, by the way.
Yeah. Like cock blocking his entire life.
Yeah.
And then secretly like reading some, delicious smut. And yeah, he like sits down on a chair and her tablet's there and he's like, oops. And he picks up the tablet to move it and it, turns on to like what she's reading. And he's like literally so scandalized. He ends up in the hospital.
Oh yeah. It's so dramatic.
Like he needs some smelling salts.
Yeah.
He's taken to his bed like a sick Victorian child.
He goes to his fainting couch.
Because poor sheltered, 30-something virgin, not that there's anything wrong with being a 30-something virgin, but like he's been so cock-blocked by his own mom that
correct.
That he doesn't know how to react to something like this and he reacts poorly. And then is genuinely sorry. Like feels so bad. Like he is just in like his life is in shambles. And when they bump into each other at the police station, and he's got like a stain on his shirt.
Right.
He's shuffling around in sweats. And he's like, I don't care if you press charges. I want you to know that I'm genuinely sorry. And like for me, that was like, I was like, this guy's going to have growth.
Yeah.
And
there was something about the fact that I thought this was a really smart plot device. That the worst of the comments he didn't actually make.
Yes.
He was still ready to apologize, though, for everything because the comments were made at his urging. His assistant was the one who said the most egregious comments and were the reason that she decided to sue.
And his assistant is her first love.
Right.
Too.
But I liked that, first of all, they had him. He wasn't like, oh, but I didn't make them all.
No, he didn't try to make excuses.
He didn't try to make excuses. He was like, I respect, I take responsibility for all of it. And never once did he tell her that he didn't make the comments. She found out a whole nother way that had nothing to do with him, that he wasn't the one who made the worst comments. And I liked that because I was kind of like, God, it is really hard for a hero to be someone who tells a romance author to like die. Like,
yes, like go kill yourself.
Go kill yourself. Like that is hard to root for.
Yeah.
And so when you find out he didn't actually make those comments, but he was ready to accept responsibility for them.
I was very happy that he hadn't made those.
I was like, okay, that feels heroic. He shouldn't have done it, but he paid the price. And I thought that was a really interesting kind of plot point that they went with. I just feel like K-dramas always find a way to do that. They find a way to always make the heroes heroic.
Yep.
They really do. They don't do dark romance. Like
no.
They're going to make
that.
Yeah, they're going to make these heroes heroic and they're going to find a way to do it. And I like that.
Yeah, I mean, he not only has remorse and takes responsibility, but then he grows to not only respect what she does, but like becomes her biggest cheerleader.
Oh yeah. Oh my God. That's another thing too. He becomes her biggest cheerleader. At the end, she has to lecture like a college class, and she's really nervous because she's a writer. We're introvert. Well, I'm not an introvert, but most writers are introverts. And so she's really nervous. And then she sees him sitting in the top row, and he has like her name on a sign, and he, like he's like cheering her on from the back row. And it's the cutest thing I've ever seen. And he's like so proud of her. He watches like as they exit the lecture, and all these people are like, "Oh, can we have your autograph? Like, we loved your lecture." And he's just watching her, and he's so proud. You can tell he's like, "That's my woman." And it's like, it's just,
I loved it.
Yeah. The growth of his character was so good. He really, really, God, Lee Sang-yi. I just love you.
So good. Make him a lead. Make him a lead.
He has the face for it. He has
He's
everything.
Gorgeous.
He's beautiful, and he has the acting chops. Just freaking do it. A full length. If you don't give me at least 12 episodes, I'm rioting.
Okay. So it got ruined for Megan, but Jihyuk and Gyuhyun are dun brothers.
Yeah.
Turns out Jihyuk is Gyuhyun's father's illegitimate son. So what are your thoughts on their quote unquote meet cute at the orphanage, where like Gyuhyun even gives him a nickname of Lucifer. And their progression from friends to enemies to hyungs.
I fucking adored it. Look, I'm always gonna love like brother bromance. Like the way they really, like, they had good chemistry, and
they did.
Lee Sang-yi has good. Look, him and Udo-wan had the best bromance, like bar none, best. Okay, and maybe only second. Well, not. It's like in line with Midnight Runner's bromance. Like that is how good this bromance was in Bloodhounds. They loved each other.
Yeah.
Like fully loved each other. They were partners. They would do anything for each other. So to see him have very good chemistry with Young Dae was wonderful. And I just need to say, one of my favorite scenes was...
I love it. I know what you're going to say.
Yeah, so Jihyuk is sleeping on the floor, and Gyuhyun is sleeping on the bed, like up in Jihyuk's like attic apartment or whatever that is, or rooftop apartment.
Yeah.
And they're both asleep, but they both roll over at the same time in the same position.
And they're enemies at this point.
They're still enemies, but we know at this point they're brothers. We know they're brothers,
and they know too. This is when
true.
This is what happens is when Gyuhyun finds out, he basically like tries to fire them both, tries to fire Jihyuk and Haeyoung.
He feels threatened.
And his mother is telling him to. Yeah. And so he basically tells Jihyuk, you need to leave the country. Like,
yeah,
you need to go. But then what happens is, because there's tension going on between, him and Nam Ja-yeon in their relationship, there's something going on there. He shows up drunk and he can't go home. Like he has no car. And so he needs a place to sleep, and they let him sleep there. And I messaged Megan, and we're talking about it. I'm like, they want to be brothers so bad.
They do. They do. And when they did that rollover thing in the same position, I was like, stop it.
It was like having twins in a crib. Like,
yeah, twins in a crib. Look, secret siblings is always going to get me. I love secret siblings.
And having them like each other first, then find out they're siblings and not like each other, and then like each other again.
They really liked each other. And I think Gyuhyun liked Jihyuk more than Jihyuk liked Gyuhyun. But their banter with each other was so cute. The way, remember when they were like both fighting with their like respective crushes, like Jihyuk was fighting with Haeyoung, and Gyuhyun, I have a hard time saying that name. Gyuhyun was fighting with Jaeyeon. So, and they both they're like, okay, you call. Like they called the opposites girl.
But then Jihyuk didn't for him. Like Jihyuk left him hanging, which I thought was so funny. I'm like, he deserved that. He 100% deserved that.
They're trying to silently have a conversation when they're on the phone. It was very good. I think I'm going to get to one of my favorite comedic scenes later, but yeah, that involves them. But yeah, I loved it.
And then I think one of the most heartwarming scenes between them was when Hae-young finds out that he is, you know, the foster child, and that, you know, we'll get to that in a little bit. But basically, she sends him away, and I think, like, rightfully so. Like, you know, this is after, and like, spoiler, like, we're in the spoiler section. Her mom dies, and she, you know, he's great at the funeral and stuff like that. But basically, she's like, you're free from this relationship. Like, you need to live for you now. Like, you've always been living for someone else, and I can't have you living for me. And she's like, I need you to take time for yourself. And so we have the third act breakup, even though they're clearly in love. And he's at the airport getting ready to go to, was he going to like Tokyo or Hong Kong or something? Like, not.
I think I don't know if he went to Canada right away or where he
did end up going to Canada, but they were first saying he was going to, he ended up going to Canada, which is where his mom was. That's neither here nor there. But he's at the airport, and Hae-young doesn't go to meet him at the airport, but Yoo-hyun and Yoo-hyun's father, he's like off on the side, like he won't, you know.
But remember, he's like, did he say anything?
Did he say anything?
This is the thing. When he walked up, I was like, he's going to ask if he said anything about him. And then he goes, did he say anything about me? I was like, I knew it.
But like, what I loved is
he was so selfish.
When Ji-hyuk is getting ready to leave, and he's like, I'm leaving because you told me to leave the country. But really, he does have like unfinished business to take care of because he's stayed away from his birth mother for so long. He calls Kyu-hyun brother.
Hyung.
He calls him Hyung. And I remember like Lee Sung-yi's face just like lights up, and he's like, Hyung? Yeah. And it was
actually real quick, let's talk about the separation.
Okay.
I don't think because I really liked it. And so I want to talk about, there's a third act separation, a third act breakup.
Right.
And a separation. And the separation is like months.
Yeah.
I forget how many months, like either 3 to 6 months. So the thing about Ji-hyuk that was important and that they stressed numerous times was that he kind of lived because he made promises to other people. So he made a promise to his grandmother that he wouldn't marry. Oh no.
That he basically like wouldn't use his looks.
That's it. He wouldn't,
because his mom used her looks and got pregnant by a man who wasn't going to take care of her.
So his grandmother's like, never use your looks. So that's one of the reasons he dressed frumpy. He looked frumpy because he was obviously very attractive. I liked. They established that, so we knew that about him, and then we also know that he promised his mother that, because his mother was like, "You ruined my life," which is wild, but that he would never ruin someone else's life. So he really lived based on these two promises he made to women, and because even when he like married Hae-young, he was like, "I can't ruin your life. Like that's a promise I made to my mom, so I'm going to do everything I can not to ruin your life." So when Hae-young's mom died, and he kind of was like, had come into his own, he knew who he was comfortable with who he was. He was like, okay, well now I'm going to promise you.
And they admitted they loved each other, and they slept together. Like, they banged it out. Like
they banged it out. Yeah. And so he's like, well, now I promise you that I'm never going to leave you. And she knew what his life had been like before that. And so she was like, no, you're not going to do this. You're not going to live your life based on another promise that's going to basically shackle you. I'm not doing that. Like, because of course she told him it in a way that she was like, I don't want this burden, but it was all for him. She didn't want him to be burdened.
Right. She didn't want him to be obligated to stay.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think she thought that too. She didn't want him to be obligated, but I really think it was a selfless act for her. Even though she told him, you're burdening me, I'm doing this for a selfish reason. That's not why she did it.
But she did tell him, you need to live for you now.
She did. But I think she knew he wouldn't go away unless she was like, you're burdening me. And so, but she broke her own heart, but she was like, I can't let you live like this again. And I actually really fucking loved it.
Yeah. Because then it wasn't gratuitous at all.
No, because then he was the one who had to make the choice to come back. So he got to be away. He got to live for himself. He got to travel all these places. And then finally he could be like, I'm going home.
To where my heart is.
And I loved it. I thought it was a perfect reason for a break. I also don't think it's a good idea to like promise your life to someone at a funeral. Like, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, he was overcome with emotion. I just feel like
he was right. He was grieving too.
Yeah, he was grieving too. And I just felt like everything. I remember thinking, oh, this is so sweet. He's promising her. And then as soon as it hit me, I was like, no, from a writing standpoint, this is what should be done.
Right. And he needed his growth.
Yeah. So I just need to say that because I know it's not a favorite to have a third act breakup, but for this drama, I felt it was appropriate.
Absolutely. I thought it was very well done. But we're not done. Because wait, there's murder.
Of course.
That's right. Because guess what happened years ago? Nam Ja-yeon escaped her abusive father to live with Hae-young's family as a foster child. But daddy finds her and in trying to get to her, kills Hae-young's father. Hae-young leaves home after her father's death, leaving her mother alone and lonely. So she fosters just one more teen, Ji-uk. But because she promised Hae-young no more fosters, she tells Ji-uk to scram whenever she finds out that Hae-young is stopping home, which leads to the one and only time they meet before the convenience store years later. What did you think of this as their past connection? And that scene that we get to see that he remembers that she does not.
Yeah, well, first of all, we gotta love like rebellious Hae-young in her 20s where they just have her wear
flipped on hair extensions.
She has like red or like fuchsia hair extensions. She has heavy makeup. She's wearing like
Doc Martens and like plaid.
I don't know. They were rebel clothes that made me feel like it didn't fit. Like,
no, it didn't.
It was like what it felt like what an 80-year-old person thinks like a rebellious teen would dress like. Do you know what I mean? It felt very weird, but that's okay. It was funny. Did I think we needed the foster? Did I think I needed him to be the foster brother? No. I guess the whole story about how he gave her first cigarette was cute, but then I don't find cigarettes romantic, so I don't really like need that either.
No. He gave her a light. She had the cigarettes, and she wasn't going to start smoking unless somebody had a light.
Right. I guess I liked how he loved her mom. I did.
Yeah.
Like that. You know, I don't know. I didn't necessarily need the foster brother connection, I guess, but it's a K-drama, so it's going to happen.
Yeah. I mean, it was fine. I wasn't surprised by it because we already knew that they had that connection. I just love that he remembered her.
I did love that he remembered her.
Yeah.
And
she didn't remember him. Like, she's like, you were that kid?
Well, I like it because you could like, I feel like he had a crush on her since he was like,
of course,
16, you know, like
and because he remembered
her.
You not? And wait, what was she calling him? She was like teasing him about something about like being a shrimp or something like that. But then he like walks up to her and
he's like taller than her,
towers over her.
Yeah, I forget what she called him.
It was something like that. But I think that then, because then you get into like the whole animosity between the two of them, and like he remembers her, he knows who her mom is, and so I think there's that sort of built-in like almost like little brotherness.
Yeah.
That he's like, why are you still acting out like you were like all those years ago?
Right.
You know, kind of thing.
Yeah. That makes sense.
I don't know. I thought it was, I think it's cute. I mean, yeah, I love when there's a past connection. I'm actually glad that because I kept asking him, like, how was he a foster child and she doesn't know him? Like, how does she not know? And I'm actually glad that they like made that logically fit. That
they
like,
did. I mean, I thought that. I did.
Yeah.
Remember, I messaged
that she
you about
did.
it.
She left home. Yeah,
I was
you
like,
did
well,
say that.
She was an adult.
Yeah.
But then they fully explained it.
Yeah.
Like fully. They left there's no plot hole there. Okay.
No.
She didn't just magically forget your brother.
Never over it.
Thanks.
Same writer. You did better this time.
Way better. Oh, geez.
Oh.
Okay. I can't wait to talk about this. So the story comes to a climax when Nam Jae-youn's father is released from prison and he heads right to Hae-young's place to, we're not really sure, beat his daughter until she tells him where her mother is hiding. Long story short is that Jae-youn's troll turned impossible crush because he demoted Hae-young and banished Ji-hyuk when he found out they were brothers. Gi-hyun comes to the rescue. And even after being lightly stabbed, vanquishes Jae-youn's father with the help of 2 vibrators that look like lightsabers. P.S. He does not know what they are. So how does the scene work without becoming farcical?
I honestly don't know.
I don't know, but it does.
Because it's scary. Like, he gets stabbed, falls down the stairs, and then
Jae-youn's beat up. Like, her dad,
she's beat up. She's got
bloody.
A split lip.
Yeah. Split lip. They always love the split lip.
And he's coming down the stairs, like, after him, like, with a knife still. They have a little tussle, and the knife, gets, thrown across the floor, and he gets, knocked down by this wooden box. And he's like, I don't know. And he throws the box, like, that's what it is. He throws the box, like, at Jae-youn's father, like, hits him with the box, and he drops the knife, and the box opens, and he's like, this looks like something I could use. And the second he like grabs them, I'm like, those vibrate?
And the way him up, turns
and like blood. Almost like he's Darth Maul with like, which you don't even know that reference that I'm making.
No, I do.
He picks him up like he's got 2 lightsabers and like shakes them to turn them on, and they light up like lightsabers, but they're a little shorter.
Yeah, they're a little shorter.
And just starts clubbing her dad.
And the lightsabers. They
make the swoosh noise and stuff.
Like, yeah, and they do the special effects that make it look like the light is like arcing through the air, and they're like fluorescent. It's like green and yellow. Like, it's like and this thing is
hilarious, and it was just this really scary scene. I mean, not like super really
scary and serious. It's a father like beating up his daughter, and then he stabs Gi-hyun. It is serious, and then I
feel like you just know, like, they're like, look, we're not going to even make you think for a second that we're not going to have a happy ending here. We're going to have a vibrator showdown.
We're going to give you 5 minutes of tension, and then we're going to alleviate it with vibrators. And it's like fantastic. Like, I'm never going to complain about that. It was so funny. And I got to be honest, Lee Sang-yi, this is the thing.
His wide-eyed innocence.
Yeah, the way he played this character was so good. Because there was an innocence to this character. That was the whole point. That was like why he reacted so strongly about the book. He doesn't know what vibrators are. Like, there's an innocence to him, but there's also a deep-seated desire, I think, to be a hero. Like, he really wanted to be her hero.
My gosh.
He wants to be a good man. Like, I really do believe that. And so the fact that they incorporated that with his like innocence in this scene, and it's a callback because you know what's in that box. Like, you know what's in the box. There's been several references to this box. And so the fact that as soon as the audience sees that box, you're like, no, are they really going to do this? And so all of it felt to like, as the audience member, I felt like I was in on the joke with the show and with the writers. I felt like the writers were winking at me, and I love it.
Yeah, it was great. And they took it as far as it could go. Like, he's sitting in the back of the ambulance with his arm bandaged up with Ji-hyuk, and the cops come over and they're like, we've got him in handcuffs.
Yeah.
They're like, and they had them like in a bag now?
In a baggie, and they're like, where did these come from?
He's like, did the perpetrator bring these? And Kyuhyun's like, no, I found those and I use those. And the cop's like, oh, okay. And the cop walks away. And then Kyuhyun turns to Jihyuk and he goes, what were those?
Yeah, and Jihyuk's like, let's move on. Let's get you to the hospital. Like Jihyuk is like, because Jihyuk knows what they are. Because Jihyuk knows his stuff. And it was great. I loved it. I thought it was a really great scene.
Oh, so good. So good.
So we have a few really fun cameos in this drama. Kim Sung-young, a nod to the writer's other drama, Her Private Life, and 2 stemming from the director's connection to actors from Strong Girl Namsoon, Kim Jun-ung, and Byun Woo-suk. So which was your favorite?
So I will say, like, I don't know Kim Jong-un because I haven't seen the dramas that she's in, but I read that she was a cameo, so I wanted to include her. So yay her. When I saw Kim Sun-young, I was so excited, and I messaged Sarah, and she was like, "Yeah, that's her character from Her Private Life because it's the same writer." I was like, "Oh, I didn't know it was the same writer." I love when they do crossover characters, but like that was one of the things I didn't want to give it away in the pre-spoiler set. I did not want to give it away in the pre-spoiler section. But that was one of the things that Sarah gave me to sell me on this drama. She's like, Amy, Sunjay's in episode 4.
Sunjay!
I'm like, okay, I'm in. I'm in.
Oh, I love it. Look, when they had Kim Sung-young as the art gallery owner, when she was like, Ki-hun! Oh my God! And she runs towards him in slow-mo, I was like, oh, I fucking love it. She was like my favorite part of Her Private Life.
I loved her.
And so that cameo was so good. And then later he has like a blind date that gets set up for him with her daughter, and her daughter even does an imitation of her mom. And it's like really good imitation. Oh my God, I loved it all. Kim Sung-young is so good in that role, and it was just really fun to see her cameo.
Yes.
So, favorite romantic scene?
The fake proposal. I can't even, like, with him spelling "marry me" in like milk cartons.
Milk cartons, and
like the fact that like
the jellies.
Like, she told him, she's like, you have to propose to me. Like, you know, we like I have to have like stories, because basically her ex-boyfriend starts like calling her on this like relationship, and he doesn't believe it. And you know that he still has feelings for her, even though he's freaking married. He's trash. But he keeps like questioning her, and she's like, you know what? She's like, I need proof. She's like, I need pictures of us dating. And she like walks through the grocery store, like pretending like she's feeding him on camera. And she like makes like one of the grocery store workers like bite like the sample and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So she does all these things. She's like, I need a proposal story. Like, nobody's going to believe me if I don't have a proposal story. She's like, you have to propose to me. And he's like, screw that. I'm not going to do it. And then she walks into the convenience store, and he's nowhere to be found. And, you know, he has this like little walkway, like all set up for her towards the refrigerator section. And it's just a wall of like milk cartons or yogurts or whatever that spell "marry me." And then the Pang Pang mustard jellies that he told her were sold out. He has like a whole rack of them.
I know. I love that he was basically like hoarding them.
And like sitting and eating them when she'd walk by and stuff like that, which I loved. Like when they were still fighting.
He's like, nope. She's like, but they're right there. And he's like, well, it's empty now. Like, I ate it. I love it.
You just knew. Like, there's like, this guy loves this woman already.
I know.
Like that he went through all that just to make her happy.
I know.
It was so sweet.
So I love the scene where this was like, I say this is my favorite romantic scene because this is when I started getting an inkling of how he felt about her. And you see the start of how he's basically always going to be there for her. And he's very in tune to her. You notice that sometimes like she is a force of nature. And he's he's like the divining rod to like her water. Like he's always going to be in tune to her emotions and what she's feeling, even when she's like in a whirlwind off doing something else. And right before she's about to walk down the aisle, she sees like another bride, which I thought was really weird too. I'm like, where's this other bride coming from? But she sees another bride like interacting with her father when she's about to like walk down the aisle. And you can tell Hae-young is starting to feel emotional that she can't walk down the aisle with her father. And I think she like steps out of her shoe because she's like she's like starting to cry. And you already know at this point that she's just not a woman who's like cries easily. And she probably doesn't like that she's crying. And she steps out of her shoe and she's starting to get a little flustered. And then he's just there. And he helps her into her shoe. And he takes her hand and he's like, we're doing this together. Like, I don't know what he says, but it's something like that.
Yeah.
And again, it was like so romantic to me because I was like, oh, I see. Like we're getting an idea now of what he can be like as like a partner.
He's so good. He truly is an angel.
Yeah. And then, okay. Well, what's your favorite comedic scene?
Yeah. So we already talked about the vibrators.
Yeah.
Which is a great one. So I messaged you and I was like, you need to tell me when you get to whatever episode this is. I'm like, I'm just going to say there's a scene in the lobby of the office building and you'll know what it is when you get to it.
I did. I knew exactly what scene you were talking about after I watched it.
So there is a scene where Ji-hyuk and Gyu-hyun are arguing because it's after he's found out that he's a secret chaebol and has basically like, demoted Hae-young and, wants to banish Ji-hyuk. And Ji-hyuk shows up at the office and they're like, he like calls him out. Like Gyu-hyun's walking with his entourage and he's like, Buck Gyu-hyun. And like turns around. And he's like, oh, we're going to do this here. He's like, yeah, we're going to do it here. And they're arguing. And there are these two beautiful men arguing. And there are like these like giddy women like off to the side watching it like it's a BL. And you see them like imagining like hearts around them and imagining them like brushing each other's hair away.
Yeah, like touching each other's faces, leaning in for a kiss.
Hilarious.
It was so random too.
It was so random, but it was so funny.
I liked it because it felt like a call to like just romance novels. Like that's what it felt like.
I just love that it was like all about like romance stuff in this. Yeah, it was super random, but super funny. And I liked it.
I did too. I thought it was great. I thought it was really, really funny. And I liked it too, just because it just felt comedic to be funny, but not
because we know they're brothers at this point.
Yeah,
like we know they're brothers.
And it was just funny to be funny, but not in a silly way.
Right.
Like it still felt, So I have a few favorites, but so I'm actually going to say this is a comedic scene. Maybe it's not, but it could be romantic too. I'm not sure, but it's basically the makeover scene. So it's not even a makeover. It's he brushed his hair. But so Hae-young is like, I gotta go get a wedding dress. And he's like, well, I'll come. And she's like, I don't need you to come. And he's like, well, I need a tux. And she's like, fine. Like she's so annoyed with him. She like doesn't want him.
And she's like, I'll just pick something up for you or whatever.
Yeah. And he's like, well, no, I need to go. So they're like, he's trying on tuxes. He's like back in a room trying on tuxes. And she's like, oh God, and her ex-boyfriend and his wife, because he's now married, show up and they both work where Hae-young works. So like they know she's getting married. And the wife what is her name? Her name is Hae-won. So she's really sweet. Like she's a very nice girl, a woman. And so she's like, oh my gosh, what are you here for? Or, oh my gosh, is he, because at one point he says something like, I'm ready. And she's like, oh my gosh, is that your groom? Oh my gosh, let's see what he's wearing. Like she wants to like be involved. And Hae-young is of course like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Like he's not ready. He's like shaggy. He's wearing his glasses. Like she's like, oh my God, I don't want her to see him right now. And also because she doesn't want anyone to really see him, to remember him too much. But she's,
right. He's going to be gone.
Yeah. And just to preface this, one of the reasons she asks him is because of how scrubby he looks. Because she's like, no one is going to remember what he looks like. He's not attractive. No one's going to remember what he looks like. Everyone's only going to remember me. It'll be fine. And so he's like, okay, like he's behind the curtain or whatever, behind the dressing area. And he's like, I'm ready. And the curtain opens in like slow-mo. And he looks incredible. Like the tux fits him like a dream. He has brushed his hair. It's no longer like a mop. It's like a sleek mullet-ish kind of haircut.
Yeah.
He's taken off his glasses. He looks so
like a model.
Handsome.
He looks like a model.
And it's hysterical because Haewon gasps. Like Haeyoung isn't facing him yet. And Haeyoung gasps at how attractive he is. And even like the ex-boyfriend, like Ujae, is like, oh my God. Like you can tell even he reacts. And Haeyoung is like, oh, he just came from work. She didn't see him yet. She's just trying to cover. She's like, oh, he just came from work. And she turns around and she's like she also gasps because she did not expect him to look this good. And the way I screamed watching the scene, it was so funny because their reactions were so over the top, but then also fitting because he looked that good.
He did.
Like whoever styled him for that scene, like A++++, because he looks incredible. And it is a shock. Like I think I actually don't know because it could have gone either way. He could have looked super scruffy, but then looked really amazing at the wedding. I didn't know what they were going to do with him.
Yeah.
So the fact that
when were they going to have him?
And the best part is she's furious. Haeyoung is so furious because she's like, you didn't tell me you're this attractive. And he's like, what are you talking about? She's like, you are handsome. You are, what are you, a model? I mean, she is so mad because she's like, now everyone's going to remember you because you're so attractive. Like, I loved everything about it. That entire kind of sequence was so good and so funny.
Yeah, I will throw in one other that I just thought of when you were talking about like Woo-jae and stuff like that. That because of course, like they go to take their honeymoon, their fake honeymoon, and Woo-jae and his wife are first doing their honeymoon because they just got married.
Oh my God,
and they all get drunk, Haeyeon, Woo-jae, and Jiuk, and they wind up in bed together.
All three of them. Like clothed.
The way that the last few minutes of this episode ends, I mean, like the silly cliffhangers that they gave us. So Haeyoung wakes up and sees that she's in bed with Jiuk and like screams. Then Jiuk wakes up and he looks at her, and then he turns around and looks on his other side of him.
There's an arm around him.
Yes,
a male arm,
and it's Woo-jae.
He screams. And then Woo-jae, all of a sudden, the best part is that he like comes out from under the covers,
stretches like a little baby taking a nap.
They make a baby noise, like the sound effect, and then all three of them start screaming. It is so funny. It is so funny. And again, it was like done in a way that nothing felt like silly. It was like great. Like it was like a great, funny.
Like three people got sloppy drunk and ended up in bed together. And they're all fully clothed. Like,
yeah, that's why it was funny too. Because nothing felt weird.
So funny. Yeah, I just remember that one. So that's a lot for just 12 episodes.
Oh, I feel like we've been talking for a long time.
Right. But then we get a bonus. So we're not going to talk about Spice Up Our Love because I feel like that's for another day. But what can viewers look forward to in 2 episodes, these 2 bonus episodes, the little spinoff with Nam Jae-yeon and Bak Yoo-han?
Yeah, which first of all, no one told me this is only 2 episodes before I ventured into this no gain, no love thing. I thought this was going to be a full drama.
It wasn't very clear. Like people said spinoff, I was like, oh, whole other drama.
No.
But I'm watching this and I'm like, well, their romance is pretty much signed, sealed, and delivered at the end.
It's an extended epilogue. Well,
it's not even an epilogue because it goes back to the middle of the drama.
It does. It's kind of weird how they do it.
They even changed Jaeyeon's hair color.
They did. They had to like retcon it a little bit. Yeah. I don't love what they did, but just for like fun, I kind of had to forget a little bit about what happened to No Gain Our Love in order to like accept it. It's still very fun. It's pretty sexy. Well, not as sexy as I thought it was going to be, but that's fine. Lee Sang-yi gets to show his chops as a romantic lead. It's funny, like, because they're stuck in her book.
Right. It basically takes a page from Extraordinary You, where she is aware that she is in her book as her main character.
And it's funny because they constantly refer to plot armor. Like, it's a writer's dream to watch these two episodes because they constantly...
Really, you know what? It's a writer's dream to watch all of Extraordinary You.
Oh my God. Okay. But they refer to plot armor, and they also refer to the fact that, like, the main characters can never die.
Yeah.
And the male lead is always going to be heroic. And so they have Lee Sang-yi do the funniest shit. Like, there's one part where she's trying to get out of her book. So she's like, I'm going to jump off this building because I have to get, maybe if I die in this, even though I'm the main character, she learns later she can't die because she's the main character. But she tries to jump off the building, but Lee Sang-yi has got to be the hero. So he leaps up, catches her in his arms.
Like he's in the Matrix.
Like he's Superman. Then he lands.
Oh my God.
He lands. The skidding. He lands on his knees and slides through the concrete steps, walk.
Burns his pants off.
Then when he stands up, his pants below the knee are just like burnt. And the way I cracked up when they showed his pants, like,
it was amazing.
It's so funny. It's so funny. The tone of these two episodes is like different than No Gain Art of Love, but also still the same type of humor.
It still fits.
Clever.
Yeah.
It's still very clever, witty humor. And I loved it. But again, you give Lee Sang-yi this chance to be like a hero. And when he becomes aware of that he's like in a novel, it's delightful. Like, it's just, I enjoyed it. I could have taken more. And part of me wishes this could have been like a full length. I don't know how to explain it, but I don't know how they could have done it.
It's like Extraordinary You for grown-ups, basically.
Yeah, it is. And it's very fun. And I very much enjoyed it. But all it made me want is to see Lee Sang-yi in a long drama as the male lead. He looked so good. Like,
here's the other thing about him. You know, like I said, like, I didn't really remember him from Hometown Cha-Cha-Cha because that's been like, a couple years already. I remember him very clearly from My Demon, and they didn't let him be good looking. Like, he had very like frumpy, like frizzy hair. Like, he almost had like rain or shine hair, basically, which works just fine for Junho. But yeah, I mean, because he was like this, like, sort of like sap of a character,
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know.
Let him be attractive.
They just let him be attractive in this, and he's super attractive.
Oh my God, he was so good looking. He wore those suits so well. And of course, they have shots of him shirtless, and you're like, see, this is what he looked like in Bloodhounds.
There is a scene where it's about to be a sex scene, but then it's not a sex scene in the second episode, and you see him taking off his robe from the back, and the rippling of the man's back muscles. I'm like, good freaking Lord. Like,
well, I guess I'm
give
just
me
like
12 episodes of his back.
Yeah. Like, that man did not put in the work to look like he did in Bloodhounds to then not be a romantic lead. Like, I am sorry. Get this man. And then you'll see at the end of Spice Up Our Love, he sang that he can sing. He sang the song. They show him singing. Wait till you see that. Like, so we can sing too. It's like, okay, so he is a full package. Then give him a lead role. Thank you very much.
So we've been talking for like an hour and 45 minutes. And
oh my God.
I think it's safe to say that at least 25 minutes of that was about Lee Sang-yi and how he needs to be.
I have a headache. I like never get headaches. And I think it's because I haven't talked this long in a really long time.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that was really fun.
Do I want a
pain patch for my forehead? My forehead.
Please don't burn your forehead off.
I'm not. And I thought
this was super fun. I'm so glad you watched it and loved it like I did.
Oh my God, it was delightful.
Such a joy. Such a joy.
I know a lot of people really like this drama, so I hope you enjoy listening to us talk about it for an hour and 45. And I mean,
close to 2 hours.
I mean, we didn't even mention, there's still like plenty more to talk about, but like we're all talked out. But I'm just saying, like, that's the thing. You can talk about a drama for an hour and 45 minutes and like there's still more stuff.
Especially when you love it, right? Like we can go on and on.
True.
But we won't. We won't. We could, but we won't.
We'll let you go because we need to go.
We need to go. It's late. I need to go to bed.
I know we do. All right. Well, thank you for listening.
You. Yeah.
Let us know what you think, and we'll see you next time.
Annyeong.
감사합니다. Thank you for listening to Afternoona Delight. Where can you find us outside the pod? Head on over to afternoonadelight.com. That's AFTERNOONADELIGHT.com. You'll find links to all our social media, our book recs, K-pop and K-skincare recs, and if you want even more Afternoona Delight, because really who doesn't, you can join our Patreon, where you can choose the patron level that's right for you. Join in daily K-drama conversations, listen to bonus podcast episodes just for patrons, and participate in our monthly live K-drama support group via Zoom. We can't wait for you to be a part of the community. Until next time, annyeong!